For more on the troubles facing Trump, I'm joined now by Mary Curtis. She's a columnist with Roll Call, a newspaper and website covering Capitol Hill. So, Mary, not just quotes, but audio tapes with his voice and Bob Woodward. I'd like to get your reaction to the president explaining himself, saying that he didn't lie during a news conference just a few hours ago at the White House.
Well, the president is just where he doesn't want to be, which is playing defense. This is a president that wants to be on the attack, and it's in his own words. So that's where the problem is. And he contradicts himself because at the same time he's on tape telling Bob Woodward that this was a serious problem, he was telling the American people that, oh, it wasn't very serious, it was just like a flu and children couldn't get it. And now you see the only problem, he's saying that he didn't want to cause chaos, but he's still going to big rallies with a lot of folks who don't have masks on. So in a sense, he still seems to be downplaying it.
You know, Mary, we've seen a lot of books for-profit released ahead of the election, both by journalists and former Trump officials in recent weeks, and also this criticism of withholding important life-saving information, in this case COVID-19. So what is the balance between the public's right to know and, you know, putting a book out?
Well, Bob Woodward had said he wanted to fact-check the president's own statements. Others are saying if it could have saved some lives. It is true that so many of the president's supporters will believe him over any of these reports. But you do have this book after book. And the problem for Trump is that so many of the things that are being said, what he is saying about the military, also him with being accused of withholding information about Russian interference and downplaying the threat of white supremacists, it does sound like some things that the president would say. He has said some of these things. So that's the problem. It fits the narrative.
That being said, you know, it's just every day there's a new bombshell involving the president, seemingly worse than the day before. And right now, as we speak, the U.S. president is at a campaign rally in Michigan talking to his supporters. Will any of this make a difference to his supporters? Will it sway them not to vote for the president, or will they just go on and not care?
Well, he seems to have a hard support of about 40%, and there's so very few who are undecided. So he's trying to ramp them up. So, you know, he has said he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and get away with it. But the polls are very tight. And I think now maybe the folks in the Democratic camp are thinking, even if folks would not want to Republicans vote for Biden, they might be discouraged and maybe disgusted by this. And even though the polls are tight, some of the areas that he was strong in, like seniors, like the military, they do seem to be softening.
So, you know, that being said, with these latest poll numbers, let's turn to the Biden-Harris campaign. They're not making quite as many headlines as Trump, his for obvious reasons. But what is your outlook for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris right now? I mean, there's still 2 months to go. That's a long time. But what are they doing? What do they need to do?
Well, they're getting out more, and you see that. You see that Kamala Harris, many of the women's groups are trying to get ahead of some of the sexist and racist commentary and comments about her. They need to get out there. You see Joe Biden getting ahead on the issue of law and order that Trump has tried to make voters come to him, saying we are seeing this chaos under this president. So I think you'll see them come out more. I also think that first debate between Trump and Biden will be incredibly important because, you know, a lot of Trump has said that, you know, he's not quite with it, Biden, and he has to come out strong. On the other hand, Trump will have to play defense on these issues, and he can get combative, and that could backfire.